Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our first weekly overview as a video. We'll start as usual with the DXY index and then go over the USD pairs. Then we'll take a little break for you to ask questions. Then we'll go over the JPY and Euro pairs. Then we'll take like a 15 minutes break. Then we'll continue with our GBP, AUD, and exotic pairs. I'll try to make the weekly overview as educational as possible. And of course, we will compare our previous results from the last weekly overview. So we can keep track of our daily analysis. First of all, as usual, we'll start with the DXY index. As mentioned last week, price rejected our upper orange resistance and brown trend line and traded lower. And as mentioned last week, we were expecting a rejection from here. And if price breaks it downward, then our next support would be around 96. And that's exactly what happened. Price broke our upper purple resistance, and it's now approaching our lower purple resistance and brown trend line. If we zoom into daily time frame, we can see that the XY was trading inside this symmetrical triangle. Don't worry, it's objective on H4. So here's our projection, and price almost filled its projection. So that's our first clue that many sellers are going to take their profit as price reached our symmetrical triangle projection. So that's our first clue. Our second clue is that price is currently approaching a strong demand zone. How we know that it's a demand zone? Because from this upward movement, as you can see, first of all, we have a demand zone here. Why? Because that's the only candle, the only red candle inside this bullish movement. So that's our first, you can call it support or you can call it supply, demand. Price broke it downward and traded lower. And that's our second demand zone. And it happens to be that it's also sitting around our resistance, our support in purple. Why it's a demand zone? Because it's a rally base rally. It's a rally base, then rally. Why? Because it's a very small candle. Price made a big movement upward, then took a break, and then shoot up again. Okay, so first of all, we have a projection, and then price is sitting around a demand zone. If we zoom into H4, can we add anything here? We can't add anything here. If we zoom into M30, here we go. We were waiting for an objective break above our upper purple trend line to buy the XY, as from our perspective, it was sitting around a support zone, but price broke it lower, and now it's sitting around our lower purple support. So, and as usual, meanwhile, the XY would be overall bearish. That's exactly what happened. Price kept moving downward inside our purple channel, as you can see here. And anyway, our purple channel is now objective as price formed a new dot around it. And here's our demand zone from daily time frame. And as usual, we already have a divergence on MACD. It's an old divergence, but it's still valid as price is still around our support and resistance zone, and of course our demand zone. So the XY would be overall bearish and can still break our demand zone upwards, because we all know that demand zones are not foolproof. So we've got two scenarios from here. We'll be looking for objective buy setups on lower time frames, a movement till our first resistance would be expected, and if broken upward, then a movement till our symmetrical triangle retest would be expected. Unless price breaks it downwards, then a movement till our next support or even the one lower. So here we go. Here's our objective setup on M30. So we are waiting for now a new swing to form around our upper purple trend line and then enter on its break upwards. That's for the XY. So we can expect the US pairs, the US currency to go up. So let's continue till our US pairs. Next, we have Euro USD. On Euro USD price, we were waiting for sell setups to form around here. It's exactly the opposite of the XY, but price broke it upward and then continue up. And as mentioned, keep in mind that price can still test our upper red trend line, our upper red resistance and brown trend line before going downwards. And that's exactly what happened. Price broke above our first resistance, and now it's sitting around our next resistance. So we'll be looking for objective sell setups on lower time frames, and keep in mind as usual that price can still go up to test our green resistance before going downward. And if you noticed, we also have a supply zone around here. It's a big one. As we take the supply zone from the base is the last green candle in case of a supply, and the last red candle in case of a demand, unless price formed a base like a doji or like a hammer. So in this case, that's our demand zone. So let's continue. From H4, I personally didn't buy this one as we didn't have enough confluence, and also price was sitting around resistance. But anyway, it will help us to know when the market is overextended or reached its previous target. So for those who entered buy, and it doesn't have to be us. So for those around the world who have a trading style that entered buy here, most probably if they had a plus 2 to 1 risk reward or plus 3 to 1 risk reward, they booked their profits already. So around here, the sellers are obviously taking control as the buyers are closing their trades in profit. And of course, some traders are entering sell here. So we will experience some sort of shift in momentum around this area here. So our last week buy hit take profits, and we're waiting for a momentum candle close an objective break below our red trend line to sell. Here's our view from H1. Where is H1? We didn't post H1. So here's our view from M30. We were waiting for a momentum break below our blue trend line, which didn't happen, so we can delete it. And we were waiting for an objective break below our lower red trend line, and also it didn't happen. Price formed a new swing, then formed a bomb and made an explosive movement upward, breaking above our supply zone and resistance. So now it's sitting, as mentioned, from daily around a strong resistance area. So we'll be looking for objective sell setups. We are waiting for a new swing to form around our lower red trend line to consider it our new last swing standing, because this last swing standing is already far away from our from price, and the stop loss would be huge. So it's always better to wait for a new swing, and then let's say we enter around here, and our last red dot would be around here. So it would be a good risk reward trade. That's it for Euro USD. And as usual, the exact opposite for USD CHF. USD CHF on daily time frame, we're waiting for price to approach our lower red support to look for buy opportunities. Let's check. That's exactly what happened. Price retested our red support and rejected upwards. On H4 time frame, we were holding a sell for those who were holding it. Let's check our results here. So price reached around +1 hour. So for those who moved stop loss to break even, this trade kicked them out on break even as price retested our entry. And for those who didn't close their sell yet, just give me a moment. For those who didn't close their sell yet, can look for closing opportunities if price breaks above our last swing standing. Anyway, you will get an objective by setups. Even if you didn't get an objective by setup, if price, if we have a candle close above our last swing standing, then you can close your trade. As price almost reached +1 hour. So that's it for H1. If you zoom into H1, we don't have anything and we don't have anything else. If you try to draw this trend line or even this one, it would be broken, so it's not objective. So we don't have anything here, except that for those who didn't close that sell, are still holding it, and for those who got kicked out on break even, then can look for new sell opportunities as price retests our symmetrical triangle, and can look for objective buy opportunities as price retests our red supports. Let's go forward. On AUD USD, on daily time frame, we were waiting for a rejection from here, but price broke it upward aggressively, and now it's currently sitting around a resistance zone in red. So we didn't enter sell as we didn't have an objective break below our M30 or below our H4. Here's the view from M30. Price didn't break below our lower blue trend line, so no entry here, and we can delete these lines. As per H4, price didn't break below our lower green trend line, so we can delete these lines as well. AUD/USD is currently trading inside this channel in orange, and price, as basic market structure, price was making higher highs and higher lows. Then price broke our last low lower, and then now we are overall bearish. Price was making lower lows and lower highs, lower red dots in our case, objective lower lows. Then price lower low, then price broke it upwards. So now we are in an uptrend. So we are expecting a new blue dot to form around here, and a price to break it downward to have a shift in momentum. For now, AUD/USD is not showing any signs of weakness. The buyers are in full control and pushing upward aggressively. But however, price is currently sitting around, is approaching a strong resistance, and our upper orange trend line. It's not objective, of course, but it's a projection of this trend line, and this trend line acts as mentioned in the trend line video, as oversold or overbought area. Depends if it's upward or down. So that's it for H4. We are waiting for a new blue dot to form around here and then enter on fake downward. On H1, we don't have anything to mention. On M30, price is currently forming a channel. It's not objective yet, so we are waiting for a new blue dot to form around our lower red trend line to consider it objective and enter on break downwards, keeping in mind that price can still go up to test inside, to dive inside our upper resistance, to get more liquidity, to be able to push price lower. That's our main resistance anyway. Our first resistance, or what I call it a trouble area, or some people call it flip zone, was this one, then the gray one, and now it's our red resistance. So that's it for M30. While waiting for an objective break below our lower trend line to sell. Next, we have USD CAD, which is negatively highly correlated with AUD/USD, as AUD and CAD are positively highly correlated. On USD CAD, on daily time frame, we were waiting for price to approach our lower support in gray. Then our next support would be the one in blue, to look for buy opportunities. And from H4 time frame, price broke below our lower blue trend line, so we were overall bearish, but we will be looking for objective buy setups around here. On an M30, as mentioned last week, I didn't personally buy this one, as price broke it downwards, and so our buy was already not active anymore, especially that the distance between the upper dots and the upper purple trend line is not symmetrical. And we were waiting on H1 for the right shoulder to form. It was still an idea, as I always say. We were waiting for the right shoulder to form and then enter on the neckline break upwards. So here's our view from H1. Price didn't form the right shoulder, so didn't respect our analysis. So let's delete these ones. From daily perspective, we were waiting to look for buy opportunities around here, but price broke it downwards, and now it's currently sitting around a strong support in blue. And as you can see, we previously had a strong gap around here, so price is currently filling the gap. As you can see, if you zoom in, here you go, here's our gap from here till here. So price almost filled the previous gap. That's another confluence to look for buy opportunities. And anyway, this blue zone acts as support zone. If we zoom into H4, we can see that price almost already reached the projection. If you consider that this one is a descending triangle, here you go. So here's its projection. So price almost reached it. That's another confluence. And here's our gap area. Then, so we'll be looking for objective buy setups on lower time frames, since we have a gap, acts as demand, a supply area in blue, and on H1 time frame, and here's our M30 time frame. On H1 time frame, we are waiting for a new red dot to form around our upper purple trend line to consider it objective, and then enter on to break upwards. That's our first long-term reversal. On M30, we are waiting for a new swing to form around our upper red trend line to consider it objective, as we only have two dots, one, and these three dots are considered as one dot, as they are very close to each other. So we are waiting for a new swing to form around our upper red trend line to consider it objective, and then enter on to break upwards. I personally didn't sell on this descending trend line break downward, as price, as mentioned, is sitting on a strong gap and support area. And as usual, we always keep two scenarios. We are flexible, we are investors. We are not investors, we are traders. So price can still break our lower support aggressively and then enter, and then we'll be looking for objective sell setups. And then our next support would be the gray area or even the purple one. But for now, we'll be looking for objective buy setups, and meanwhile, USD CAD would be overall bearish until a buy setup is activated. Let's proceed with GBP USD. On daily time frame, we were looking for buy opportunities around here. So, and we entered a buy on H1 time frame, and we were waiting for price to test our upper resistance to look for sell opportunities. Here we go. The price rejected our lower gray zone and traded higher. Now it's sitting around our upper red zone. So we'll be looking for objective sell setups on lower time frames. Unless price breaks it upward aggressively, then we'll be looking for objective buy setups on its retest and a movement till our next resistance in green would be expected. But for now, as mentioned, we'll be looking for objective sell setups on lower time frames. Here's our buy from H1. Our last week buy hit take profit. So let's delete our risk to reward. And on M30, we were holding our buy unless price breaks objectively below our lower purple trend line, which didn't happen, as you can see here. So we can delete these two lines. That's it for GBP USD. On M30, yesterday we had an entry opportunity here as price was sitting around our resistance. I posted this one on TradingView yesterday. Price formed a double top pattern and broke its neckline downwards. We had a divergence, a 1 histogram divergence, and a resistance and double top. So it was a typical three confluences sell setup. We entered sell around here, and then price went a little bit lower to reject our orange trend line, which it wasn't there yet. So I drew this orange trend line after the swing was formed. So we didn't have this trend line around here. So, and price hits our stop loss. Let's delete our pattern then to make the view clearer. So now price is trading inside this channel in orange, and we are waiting for a third swing to form around our lower orange trend line to consider it our new last swing standing, and then enter on its break downwards. That's it for GBP USD. And as usual, meanwhile, we would be overall bullish, and price can still break our resistance, and we'll be looking for buy opportunities. Now let's continue. Here we have gold. Gold price is still sitting around our supply zones. Here's our first one, and here's our second one. So we'll be looking for objective sell setups. That's last week sell. Here we go. We were waiting for a new blue dot from around our purple trend line to consider objective, and then enter on swing downwards. Here's our trade from M30. We also had a double top pattern. So for those who entered on the double top neckline, entered around here. For those who entered on the double top neckline, entered around here, and some of you entered on the last swing standing of the purple trend line. Both trades hit take profits. So let's delete our risk to reward ratio as we don't need it anymore. Here we go. On daily time frame, price is currently. Hello, Abdullah. Hope you're doing fine.
Hi, Richard.
We'll take a break, and when we finish the JPY to answer your question. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Abdullah, if you can turn off your video, great. Thank you.
Okay.
So as mentioned, on gold, price is currently still sitting around a strong demand area and supply area and resistance. So we'll be looking for objective sell setups. However, from a weekly perspective and even daily, price is still overall bullish, making higher highs and higher lows. and we'll be looking for objective sell setups as price is sitting around a resistance. Price is retesting our 1670, a strong support zone. So we'll be looking for objective sell setups as price breaks it downwards. But meanwhile, price can still reject it and make a movement to our next resistance or supply zone in red. So that's our view. On H4 time frame, we have a head and shoulders pattern. It's not a typical one, as the distance between the head and the left is not almost equal to the distance between the head and the right shoulder, but it's still a head and shoulders pattern. Here's our neckline for those who entered on the last swing standing break downwards. I personally didn't enter, and I don't recommend a sell entry yet. So if you are holding a sell around here or from the H1 view, I recommend that you close your sell around entry as price is sitting around a strong support zone. So I'm only interested in sell opportunities on gold if we have a candle close below our neckline and 1670. So for now, we will be looking for objective buy setups on lower time frames as price is sitting around a strong support. So, and when price goes around here, then we'll be looking for new objective sell setups to form. On H1 time frame, price is forming a trend line. It's not objective yet, so price can still break it without forming a third dot around it. But anyway, we have 1, 2, so we are waiting for a third swing from around it to consider it objective and then enter on to break upwards. We also have a divergence forming, but I didn't draw it since it's still far from closing. So our first confluence would be a support, trend line, and divergence, but our setup is still forming. That's it for gold. If we go to USD/JPY, this one, no entry here. On daily time frame, as mentioned, price is sitting around a resistance. Unless price breaks inside it, breaks aggressively inside it, then would be overall bullish. There was no entry here. And price was trading inside forming the symmetrical triangle in purple, and we were waiting for a new swing to form around our lower purple trend line to consider it objective and enter on its break downwards, which didn't happen. As you can see from H1, price formed a new swing around our upper purple trend line, formed a rich bomb as well, and broke it upwards. I personally didn't buy. As I mentioned last week, I don't recommend the buy if price breaks objectively above our upper red zone, as price was sitting around a resistance. So I personally didn't buy this one. Anyway, let's read our risk to reward. On daily time frame, price closed aggressively inside our red channel. So as mentioned, we are overall bullish now, and it's now approaching our next resistance in orange, 110. So here's 1, 2, 3. So we'll be looking for objective sell setups on lower time frames, keeping in mind that price can still test our upper brown trend line before going downwards. So for now, we'll be looking for objective sell setups and new sell setups to form. Here's our setup forming. We have a red channel. We are waiting for a third dot to form around it to consider it objective and then enter on to break downwards. We also have a divergence forming and a resistance 110. And as mentioned, keep in mind that price can still break it upwards and reach a strong supply here and brown trend line before going downwards. That's it for USD pairs. We'll take a little break and answer your questions if you have any. Then we'll continue with the JPY and Euro pairs. Then we'll take another break. Do you have any questions so far? Abdullah, Ahmad, Elias, Elio, Tony.
Hi Richard.
Yes, Abdullah.
ما عندي شيء انا بخصوص التشارتس، بس عندي سؤال بخصوص البروكر. بعدهم سبورتيف بعدهم سبورتد لليبانون ولا؟ لانه انا عندي ريل وما مبين فيني اعمل فيه شيء، يعني لا ويزدرو ولا ديبوزيت ولا حتى اقرب عليه من حيلا شيء. عندك شيء فكره؟ الو.
Yes, yes. Just give me a moment, Abdullah.
اوكي.
Okay, so let's continue with our JPY pairs. First of all, we have CHF JPY. We were waiting for sell opportunities to form around our supply zone in red and resistance. Then we were overall bullish as mentioned, and we were holding a buy, as you can see here. And we were waiting for an objective break below our lower orange trend line to close our buy and sell. So meanwhile, we were overall bullish. Let's check the update. Here's CHF JPY. Price broke above our supply zone and traded higher. So this zone can be deleted. For now, CHF JPY is sitting around a strong resistance zone, as you can see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so many touches. Here's our zone. So 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. But let's keep it aligned, not to bother our eyes. So price is currently sitting around a strong resistance. So we'll be looking for objective sell setups on lower time frames. Unless price breaks it upward aggressively, then a movement till our next resistance would be expected. Okay. On H4 time frame, our last week sell hit take profit, as you can see here. As we didn't have an entry opportunity, price didn't break objectively below our lower orange trend line, so this pattern can be deleted. And our last week buy hit take profit, and we can also delete our risk to reward ratio. And as mentioned, price is sitting around a resistance from daily, so we'll be looking for objective sell setups on lower time frames. Here's our view from M30. Price currently trading inside this channel. As usual, if price breaks above our upper red trend line, it will act as an overbought zone, and we don't enter buy. For those who read the previous advanced manual, this one is called a bow and arrow, and I usually draw it like this. Anyway, if you don't know what a bow and arrow is, don't worry, as I will mention it, I will add it in the next advanced manual. But anyway, we don't have bow and arrow is not meant to enter sell around here. It's just for an extra confirmation, extra confluence. We call it a patterns pattern. A pattern for the force breakout of patterns. So price is trading inside this channel, and we are waiting for a new blue dot to form around our lower red trend line to consider it objective, and then enter on its break downwards. And as usual, price can still break below our, so we're waiting for this one, for this scenario. That's our first scenario. Our second scenario would be price can still break our lower trend line without forming a dot, hence not giving us an opportunity to sell. We will always miss trades like this, so don't worry. And from any perspective, here also we have strong supply zones, but resistance is enough. Price is making higher highs and higher lows, so we are overall bullish. As you can see, price was overall bullish. Then here we have a shift in momentum. Then price broke above our last swing high, so we are overall bullish here once again, and here once again. So the buyers are very strong for now, so we don't see any signs of weakness, just that price is currently sitting around a strong resistance area. Okay, but that's that's not enough to sell. We don't sell on resistance like many traders do. These traders lost a lot of money these 2 weeks as price is doing nothing but breaking above resistance and support. It's not respecting any support and resistance. That can happen all the time. That's why we always keep two scenarios. And as I always mention, we are waiting for sell opportunities to fall. Unless price breaks above our upper resistance, then an upward movement would be expected. Okay, so that's it for CHF JPY. If we can continue, we can see that we have NZT JPY. We were also looking for sell opportunities around here. Unless price breaks our supply zone upwards, then our next rejection zone would be the green zone, and then our gray, then our next zone would be the red one. We were waiting for a momentum, an objective break below our blue trend line or purple trend line, which didn't happen. And the DJPY, here's our view from M30. Price didn't break objectively below our blue or purple trend line and didn't respect our head and shoulders pattern. So all these lines can be deleted. Here we go. From daily perspective, price broke above our upper supply zone and then above our green resistance, and it's now approaching a very strong resistance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a very strong one, 6, 7, 8. So we can expect price to reject the zone as it approaches our area, but for now price can still go up to get more liquidity to be able to push price lower, even though we have a gap here. So we can see some rejection from here, or price can still test our resistance before going downward. From H4, we don't have anything else to add. On H1, we have a trend line in red. We don't have a divergence. We have a 1 histogram divergence forming, but let's not draw it for now. We only have a trend line, so we are waiting for a new swing to form around it to consider it objective and then until it's break downward. But I believe that this trend line is far away from price, so we'll be looking for new better setups on M30. We also have a divergence forming around here. So that's it for NZT JPY while waiting for price to get around our gap and resistance to look for sell opportunities. On Euro JPY, we were waiting for price to approach our resistance 120 and supply zone in red to look for sell opportunities. We were holding a long-term buy from H4. Our last week buy hit take profit, as you can see here, so we can delete our risk to reward ratio. And that's our daily. We also had an M30 view. On M30, price didn't break below our blue or orange trend line, so we didn't sell. As you can see here, here's our blue and here's our orange. So let's delete our orange channel as price didn't respect it. It's still respecting our blue trend line. So we are waiting for a new swing to form around it to consider it objective and then enter on break downward. And just like NZD JPY, this trend line is far away from price. So we'll be looking for a better setup around here as price is sitting around a strong resistance zone from weekly time frame, and we also have a gap around here. So resistance and gap that acts as supply. So price didn't respect our resistance and supply zone, so we can delete this one. And for now, we are waiting for new sell opportunities around here. The last candle is showing that the sellers are pushing downwards. It's a kind of obvious as we had a gap around here. So we may have so many sell limits around our gap. So if we zoom in, if we zoom out on daily time frame, as you can see, price is overextended. We had like 7 or 8 bullish candles in a row. You know, you can't see this. The last time we saw a candle this big was like, I don't know, it was bigger than this one. It was like back in 2016. So a very huge candle. We can expect some retest from it. Anyway, let's stay objective. And price broke above our upper blue trend line. Anyway, we didn't buy as it's not objective, and we never buy on a daily trend line. We just use it for overall direction. So price broke it upwards, and then now it's sitting around a resistance. So we'll be looking for sell setups. Now a movement to our previous support and blue trend line would be expected before a movement to the upside. So here's our view from uncertainty while waiting for objective setups to form to sell Euro JPY. Here we have EuroCAD. EuroCAD, that's an old one. On daily time frame, price rejected our upper blue resistance, so we were looking for objective sell setups on lower time frames. Here we go. We were waiting for sell setups to form around our upper red trend line, and then we can expect a rejection till here, and then we'll be looking for objective buy setups. Here we go. Here's our H4 view. Price rejected our upper red trend line twice, and then rejected our lower demand zone once. So it's respecting our analysis. However, it didn't give us any entry opportunities. As you can see, just aggressive movements up, down, up, down. Okay, so these aggressive movements, just like what we saw on Euro USD, for example, on daily time frame, on H4 time frame, we can see this down, up, and on H4, big aggressive movements. So when you see these big movements, you can know that a pattern from a higher time frame is forming, just like what happened here. Big swings means that and this symmetrical triangle is formed. The same is happening on EuroCAD. Big swings means that this pattern is forming on H4 time frame. Price is now trading inside this channel in red, and here's a new trend line is formed, an horizontal trend line. So here we have a descending triangle. If we delete this one, we have a descending triangle around here, and price is also trading inside this channel. So we are waiting for a movement till around our lower red trend line and next support 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a very strong one from daily 1, 2, 3, 4. So we were waiting for a movement till our lower support in gray to buy this one. Meanwhile, EuroCAD is overall bearish, and we have a head and shoulders pattern, and here's our neckline, which makes sense as EuroCAD is overall bearish, and a movement till our lower gray trend line is gray support is expected. But let's see if our stop loss would be huge. I believe it will be, as you can see here. So it depends on your trading style if you want to enter this trade or not. I personally want to enter the sell. I will be looking for new objective sell setups to form around our upper red trend line. And EuroCAD would be overall bearish until or unless price breaks objectively above our upper red trend line. So I don't recommend any buy opportunities for now on EuroCAD unless price reaches around here or price breaks objectively above our upper red trend line. That's it for EuroCAD. Let's continue to Euro AUD. We had a stop loss last week around here. On Euro AUD, we were waiting for price, as mentioned, it needs more liquidity, so we're waiting for price to reach our lower blue support to look for buy opportunities, as we were overall bearish on Euro AUD. On H4, we were waiting for an objective break above our upper trend line to look for buy opportunities. And as mentioned, we will be looking for buy opportunities as price approaches our lower blue support. Here we go. Here's our view from Euro AUD. Price formed a hammer pattern, a one candlestick pattern, and rejecting our support zone. So we'll be looking for objective buy setups on lower time frames. Unless price breaks it downward, then a movement till our next support would be expected. So we would be overall bearish on Euro AUD until an objective buy setup is activated. So here's our view from M30. Give me a moment. Here we go. So price broke below our lower red trend line, but we didn't sell. So now Euro AD is considered to be oversold, and we are waiting for a new swing to form around our upper red trend line to consider our new last swing standing, and then enter on its break upward. So here's our first scenario, and we'll enter on its break upward. And our second scenario would be price will continue to go lower as we are still overall bearish. Price didn't break below our didn't break above our last swing high yet, so we are overall bearish, and a movement, a down movement till our next green support will be expected. So let's wait and see on this one. On H1 we don't have anything to add, and on M30 as well we don't have any objective patterns or anything else to add. So let's stick with our H4 time frame. So we'll be looking for objective buy setups around here and here, a movement till our next green support would be expected, and we'll be looking for buy opportunities as price approaches it, and we'll be looking for buy setups on lower time frames as price breaks above our red trend line. And as usual, Euro AD would be overall bearish, and we'll be looking for objective sell setups on lower time frames as price approaches our upper red trend line. That's it for Euro AUD. On Euro NZD, as mentioned before, price is retesting our upper blue resistance, so we'll be looking for objective sell setups on lower time frames. That's exactly what happened. We were expecting a rejection from here. So let's continue on H4 time frame, and here we have M30. Price broke below our orange trend line before forming a new dot around it. Let's see it around here. Here we go. So we can delete it. We didn't have an entry opportunity, unfortunately, as price respected our analysis, but it's okay. It happens all the time. We always stick to our rules and keep an objective approach, no matter what happened, no matter what happens, no matter how big the movements are, and no matter what market conditions we are in. I know many traders for the last 2 weeks that lost a lot as they enter solely on support and resistance, as mentioned before, and the market is doing nothing but breaking support and resistance for the last 2 weeks. We don't want to talk about the fundamental factor as we don't care. We keep an eye on it, but we don't consider it as a confluence. So if everything around the world is telling us that USD is going down, but we can see from a technical side that USD is going up, we will enter our buy objectively. We believe in our risk to reward edge and see confluences. setups. And as per my conversation with Elio around 1 or 2 weeks ago, he was asking me about the Euro USD trades. He asked me, he was looking for sell opportunities around here, as we were all looking for. So he told me that what if price breaks above our upper purple trend line. I told him, I sent him a voice message and told him that I don't think it will happen anytime soon, and if it happens, then it would need a big fundamental factor, something very important to happen to price to be able to push price higher. And that's exactly what happened around 2 or 3 days after that, where big fundamental news on USD started to kick in, like the incident of I don't know his name. So we were analyzing Euro and ZD. As mentioned on daily time frame, we were looking for sell opportunities, and our next support would be our day 1.71 support. And price is now trading inside this megaphone. Let's look for updates. Here we go. Price is still trading inside our purple trend lines, and now it's approaching our lower purple trend line. So we'll be looking for objective buy setups, keeping in mind that it's better for Euro NZD to reach our next support, horizontal support, 1.71, 1, 2, 3. And here's our next main support in red. So for now, Euro NZD is overall bearish, especially that it's making a clean lower lows and lower highs, as you can see from H4 perspective. So it's showing no signs of strength. It's very weak, and we'll be looking for objective buy setups on lower time frames as price approaches our support zone in gray and red. But anyway, we always give two scenarios. We are waiting for a new swing from around our upper right trend line to consider it objective and enter on break upwards, but we don't have 3 clean confluences. Okay, we have a divergence forming, but we don't have a support yet. We only have this this purple trend line, which I personally don't consider as a confluence, especially that it's not a trend following setup. So if we were looking for objective sell setups around here, then it would be a confluence. But in the case of a reversal, trend lines are not considered as a confluence. It can act as an extra confirmation, but not as a confluence. So it's better to wait for price to get around here to look for buy opportunities. For now, I don't have anything to add on Euro NZD, and it would be overall bearish. Let's take a little break, and if you have any questions. Good morning, Sean and Mefika. Hope you're having a great day and hope you're enjoying the weekly overview. I'm taking a 1-minute break. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Then we'll continue with our GBP, AUD, and exotic pairs.
Hello, Rich.
Good morning, Mafika. Hope you're having great.
Yes, I'm having a great time.
Great. Happy to hear that.
Yes. Okay, I have a question about the trend line.
Yes, sure.
So, trend line, as it is considered as a rejection, is it considered as a rejection area?
Yes, trend lines are considered as a rejection on daily and H4 timeframes, on daily and weekly timeframes. And as I mentioned, I don't know if you watch the last video I sent on trend lines. Let me check if I can find it around here on the free channel as well. Let me check. Did you watch this video or not? Let me load it. Hello traders, and did you watch this video, Mfika?
No, I never got the time of watching it.
Great. So I will send it to you in private now. Feel free to watch it. I've included everything regarding trend lines and also included how we treat trend lines from daily and weekly perspective, and as well on M30, H1 and H4, and the difference between the trend lines here and there.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, you're more than welcome. I will send you the link in private, or you can find it in our YouTube channel.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
I'll send it to you now, don't worry. Here we go. Enjoy it. Okay, I'm giving you 1 minute if you have any more questions, and we will resume our weekly overview. Yes, Mafika.
Yes, Rich. There's something else that I would love to ask. It's about the movement of price. So when you've got a setup, maybe I would say like a quarter away from your rejection area, do you take the setup or?
I didn't get your question well, Mafika. Can you please repeat in other words?
Let's say I get a setup, but it is like a quarter away from the rejection area, like so support and resistance.
Yes.
And it confirms itself by breaking the last swing, and it
Okay.
is
Yes. Great. Yes, I got your question now. Let me give you an example. So here's our whiteboard. So if we had a support around here and a resistance and support around here. So as price approaches our upper resistance, we'll be looking for objective sell setups, and here we'll be looking for objective buy setups, right? So your
yes.
question is if price already rejected our resistance and here formed an objective setup. Do we enter a sell, or it's better to wait for price to form a objective setup around our resistance, right?
Yes.
Great. It's always better to look for opportunities around our resistance, because if price already made the movement, then it's more likely to make a retest before going downward again. And as per our trading style, we always look for support and resistance on daily and weekly because we want to catch big movements. And as per our trading style, we always want a key rejection level. It's a very important confluence, and we always look for opportunities around it. If price is sitting in the middle of nowhere, then the quality of the setups is not as strong as if it's sitting around a resistance. Unless price is making lower lows and lower highs, and let's say inside this channel, then we can look for sell opportunities around our upper channel on lower time frames. This way it's considered a trend following setup. So let's say that's our channel from H4 and we don't have any support and resistance around it. Price makes three dots on M30 and then breaks it downward. Then we can enter a sell. Of course, if we have two more confluences like the stretch bomb, divergence, and trend line. So these are three confluences, and a trend following is also a confirmation. But if it's not the case, then it's better not to enter on the if price already makes a movement to the downside and it's not trading lower, as mentioned before. If it's just went down, formed a setup, and then breaks it downward, this one is not considered as a confluence. If price makes is trading higher, for example, here we go, and here we have a trend line. Let's make it in red. Give me a moment. Here we go. Here we have a trend line. Then, and here's our last swing standing, right? Then we can enter on its break. I don't know how to use it. Then we can enter. Then we can enter on its break downwards. Okay, but if price didn't form this trend line in red and went downward and then forms a new setup around here, then it's better not to enter around here as price already made its movement to the downside. It's better to wait for a retest to look for sell opportunities. Hope I answered your question well. Any more questions?
So what about if it didn't reach the resistance, but it makes the setup?
Can you repeat your question, please?
What if it makes the setup, but it didn't reach the resistance? It is just a halfway or a quarter away from the resistance. So let's say it is from support, but it makes a sell setup right at the quarter away from the resistance area.
Okay, so let me know if I understand it correctly. So you mean that if price is approaching a resistance area and forms a buy setup around here, that's what you mean?
It forms a sell setup right.
Sell, yes, here, okay. Yeah. Sell, okay.
But it doesn't reach the resistance area and it forms a sell setup.
Okay, great, yeah, yes. I got it now. So you mean that if we have a resistance here and price was trading higher, start trading higher and didn't reach our resistance and forms a sell setup around here, if you enter a sell or not, right?
Yes.
Great.
That's it.
Yes, great. If our resistance zone is far away, then we will not be looking for sell opportunities. But if because as you know, resistance are not laser lines, they are zones. So here is our resistance area. Okay, so if price was going upward and forms a setup around here, then it's far away even if we treat our resistance as zone. But if it forms around here, then we can consider it as valid, as support and resistance are areas and not lines. So maybe other traders draw this zone like this. So it's already in the resistance zone as per the trading style of some traders. Okay, so we always treat support and resistance as zones, and that's exactly why we don't like to enter if a resistance is broken upward. So some traders will enter buy when a resistance is broken upward. That's a mistake they usually make. We don't enter on a resistance break upward. We don't buy here unless price breaks upward aggressively. Then, for example, if you had your resistance like this, but for example, George had her resistance like this. Okay, and let's say Ahmad had her resistance like this. Okay, so if from your perspective, you believe that price broke above the resistance, from other traders' perspective, it's still inside the resistance zone. So trend lines, resistance are not laser lines, they are zones. So we only consider buying from a resistance is on its retest if price breaks it upward aggressively. So here we have our resistance, as we previously know that it's not a laser line, it's a zone. So if price breaks it upward like this, we are not interested in buying yet. If price breaks it like this, we will not buy. Anyway, we will not buy in all cases, but we don't consider it, consider that our resistance is broken. If price breaks one candle, one small candle, or even big candle above our resistance, it's not broken yet as per our trading style. So if a sell setup is formed around here, we can enter sell. Okay, but if price breaks it upward aggressively, okay, then the resistance is broken from all perspectives. If I draw it like this, if Ahmad draw it higher, if you draw it higher, it would be broken from all traders' trading style perspectives. Then and only then we will consider that our resistance is broken upwards, and we will be looking for objective buy setups on its retest. Okay, so we treat support and resistance as zones. But to answer your question about looking for sell opportunities around it, if price forms a setup around it, then we can enter sell. We know that we can enter sell, and price can kick us out, stop loss, and then forms a new setup around here, just like what happened with GBP USD. But it's not the case there, as price formed a setup, then broke our resistance upward, and now sitting around our next resistance. No, it's exactly the case. Let's check it, but let's see what happens next, and we'll decide what we'll do about it. Here's on M30, as mentioned before, price formed a double top pattern, so we entered sell around here. Price is sitting around a resistance, right? Here's the view from daily. Here we have a resistance zone, as you can see, a very strong one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rejections. This one is objective, and this one is objective as well, forming a strong zone. But price was approaching our zone, so we looked for sell setups, and I personally entered this sell. I entered this one here, knowing that price can still test our upper red zone to get more liquidity to be able to push price lower. And that's exactly what happened. I was expecting that. I always expect that, not just for GBP USD, that price can still hit my stop loss and trade higher. Then I will be looking for new objective setups to form, and that's exactly what we are doing for now. Our last setup kicked us out, and now we are waiting for a new setup to form, unless price now, for some traders, that price broke above our previous support. But in fact, as mentioned from the whiteboard explanation, price didn't break above our resistance yet. It's still a resistance, as you can see here. Price is still still respecting our resistance. So because our upper zone is the one, and maybe Ahmed draw it like this, maybe you draw it like this. So until price breaks aggressively above it, breaking all perspectives, then and only then we'll consider that our resistance is broken, and we will be looking for objective buy setups on its break upwards, on its retest and break upwards. Hope I answered your question well. That was a really good question.
Yes, thank you.
Great. Let me. Okay, so let's continue. Do you guys have any more questions, or we can proceed, can continue with our weekly overview? Great, so let's continue. So last we did Euro and ZD. Now let's go over our GBP pairs. Here we have GBP CHF. These are the last updates from last week, so we don't need it. As mentioned last week, we were waiting for buy opportunities to form around here, as price was sitting inside a strong support area, and a movement to our next resistance in red would be expected. Unless price breaks it downward aggressively, as mentioned before, then we'll be looking for black sell setups, and a movement to our lower purple trend line would be expected, purple support. So we were looking for buy opportunities, and here's our setup. We were waiting for a new swing to form around our upper red trend line to consider it objective, and then enter on its break upwards, which didn't happen. As you can see here from M30, price didn't form a new swing around it, so we missed this buy. But as usual, it's okay. Let's delete our lines. So from M30 perspective, we are done. Then on daily time frame, price did exactly what we expected. Price rejected our green support and traded higher, and it's currently sitting around a strong resistance area in red. As you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a very, very strong resistance. So for now, we'll be looking for objective sell setups to form. Unless price breaks it upward aggressively, then our resistance will become support, and an upward movement would be expected. Then we'll be looking for objective buy setups on the retest. If we zoom into H4, we don't have anything to add. Let's check H1. On H1, on M30, we are done already. On H1, we are waiting for a third swing, as we are looking for sell opportunities. As mentioned, we are waiting for a third swing to form around our lower purple trend line to consider it objective, and then enter on its break downwards. So here's our first scenario, or we are waiting for a new setup, a new objective setup to form around here, like head and shoulders or double top. But as usual, meanwhile, Euro GBP CHF would be overall bullish, as price is making higher highs and higher lows. That's for our GBP CHF. Now we have GBP JPY. Let's have that analysis. We were looking for objective buy setups, as price was sitting around support, and our next resistance would be 136. Then our main resistance in red would be around 140. And here we go. On H4, we had this inverse head and shoulders pattern, and we were waiting for a break above our upper neckline to buy this pair. But as mentioned last week, I personally don't recommend a buy after the break, as the stop loss would be huge. For some traders, they don't mind, but I personally like to look for better risk to reward setups. And from H1 perspective, we will be looking for sell opportunities as price approaches our upper supply zone. Let's look for updates. First of all, on H1, price didn't break below our lower orange trend line, so no entry here. And let's delete our lines. From daily perspective, price did what we expected. Price traded higher and even break above our minor resistance in gray, and it's now sitting around a strong, our main strong support and resistance zone in red. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, even 5. So we'll be looking for objective sell setups on lower time frames. Unless price breaks it upward aggressively, then we'll be looking for objective buy setups on its retest. These are the two possible scenarios for GBP JPY. On H4, price broke above our neckline after a momentum close above it. So this buy hit take profit, but I personally didn't enter this one. Anyway, let's delete our risk to reward tool. So for now, as mentioned, we'll be looking for objective sell setups on lower time frames. So, and price even didn't respect our supply zone. Anyway, we didn't have entry opportunities. On M30 time frame, that's our update for now. Price is trading inside this channel. We are waiting for a new swing to form around our lower blue trend line to consider it objective and then enter on its break downward. So let's wait and see what happens. Meanwhile, as usual, GBP JPY would be overall bullish. We also have a divergence forming on MACD, adding more confidence to our setup. That's it for GBP JPY. As you can notice, GBP CHF is sitting around resistance. GBP USD is sitting around resistance. Here we go, around resistance, and also GBP JPY sitting around resistance. So it's not a coincidence. GBP pairs are overextended. As you can see, many green candles in a row. Usually after the seventh candle with the same color in a row, we consider that the pair is overextended. As you can see here, many candles in a row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we believe that this pair is overextended, but anyway, let's stay objective and look for potential objective setups. So we are waiting for the setup to form to sell GBP JPY. Now let's take a look on GBP CAD. First of all, price was retesting our 1.7. So as mentioned, we'll be looking for objective sell setups on lower time frames. It's overall bearish, and here's our view. Unless price breaks objectively above our neckline, of course, after forming it, then we will look for buy opportunities, or we'll even buy. Let's look. Price is still struggling, sitting around our 1.7, and we had an entry opportunity last week on GBP CAD as well, and this one also hit our stop loss for those who entered. We had a divergence, price making higher highs while MACD is making lower highs. We had rich pump, a resistance, and an objective trend line. So price broke it downwards and then hit our stop loss. Let's delete our risk to reward ratio. And so that's the view from M30, from H1. Price is forming a head and shoulders pattern. It's not a typical one. As you can see, it's a bit weird, but anyway, we'll keep it as it's an extra confirmation. And price is currently trading inside this objective symmetric triangle in red. The upper trend line is objective, but the lower trend line is not objective yet. So we've got two scenarios from here. We are waiting for a third dot to form around our lower red trend line to consider it objective, and then enter on its break downward as a trend following setup after breaking below our resistance. So that's our first scenario. Our second scenario would be price breaks above our upper red trend line and resistance turned into support in this case. So then we will buy as we have three confluences, divergence, head and shoulders is considered as an add-on, as an extra confirmation, and we have a symmetrical triangle. So three confluences and this resistance would act as support as price broke upward aggressively. So let's wait and see what happens. For extra confirmation, if price breaks above our upper red trend line from here, then it would be better to wait for a momentum candle close above our head and shoulders neckline before buying this one, unless price forms a new swing, let's say around here, then the head and shoulders will not be valid anymore as price went flat and didn't respect the pattern. Then we can enter by around here without waiting for extra confirmation from the neckline. That's it for GBP CAD. Here's our two scenarios. And on H4, we have a bomb setup. So we can expect an explosive movement either side as mentioned on H4. So we're waiting for an objective break either side to buy or sell GBP CAD. Now let's go for GBP NZD. On GBP NZD, price broke below our last swing standing from daily. So we're looking for objective sell setups on lower time frames to sell as as a trend following trade. So that's exactly what happened. Price retests our round number and resistance 2.0, a very strong round number, and traded lower. So we are still overall bearish on GBP NZD. And here's our H4 perspective. We don't have anything else here. We just have this view. Here's our H4 perspective. We are still holding our sell for those who entered, of course, a long-term sell, our stop loss on the other side, on the last swing from the other side, and it's almost near our take profit. So we are overall bearish, and we are only interested in buy opportunities from H4 perspective if price breaks above our upper blue trend line objectively. Then we'll be looking for objective sell setups, for our buy setups. For now, price is overall bearish, and price didn't form a third dot around here, so no entry here as well. Let's delete it. So for now, price is approaching a strong support. It's a big zone, as you can see here. Here's the weekly view. We have a brown trend line, and we will be looking for buy opportunities as price approaches our 1.93. And keep in mind that price can still test our lower support in blue before going upwards. So for now, we don't have anything special on GBP NZD. So let's wait and see what happens. And as usual, on the retest, we'll be looking for objective sell setups on lower time frames as price would be close to our resistance and it would be a trend following setup. Anyway, let's wait and see what happens. On here we have AUD CAD was sitting around a strong resistance, so we were looking for objective sell setups on lower time frames. Here's last week trade, so we don't need it for now. And here was our setup. We were waiting for an objective break below our lower last swing standing to sell AUD CAD. Which didn't happen, as you can see here. H1 time frame, price didn't break below our lower last swing standing, so we can delete everything around here as we don't need it anymore. And from an H4 from a daily perspective, price broke above our resistance didn't respect our analysis, but anyway, we didn't enter a sell. That's the power of an extra confirmation. Maybe you're noticing that the last 2 weeks are kind of boring. It's not boring from an H4 perspective. As you can see, we were holding GBP USD buy, take profit, Euro JPY buy, take profit, CHF JPY. All our trades that we were holding from the last 2 weeks had take profit, as we had big movements, but it's a kind of boring from lower time frames, especially as per our trading style, as it's a reversal trading style. So we were waiting for example here, for sell setups to form around our resistance, as it's a very strong one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a very strong support and resistance. Even 6, 7, a very strong support and resistance. You can see it from weekly, but price broke it upwards. The good thing that we didn't sell, as that's the power of waiting for extra confirmation and trigger. So for now, GBP CAD is overall bullish, especially after breaking above the resistance, and our resistance now becomes support. That's exactly what I mean by an aggressive break upward. Then on the retest, we'll be looking for objective buy setups on lower time frames. And of course, as price approaches our next resistance, we'll be looking for objective sell setups on lower time frames. So let's wait and see what happens. On H4, price is currently trading inside this channel. So as mentioned, we'll be looking for objective buy setups on retest as a trend following setup, unless price reaches our upper. So here's what we can expect. Here we go. Then, or even here, then price formed a new swing around our resistance, and enter on its objective break downward. Okay, so for now we don't have anything objective yet, so let's wait and see what happens. Since now it retested our lower resistance and support is expected, then we can look for short term. I personally don't recommend a sell here, but for those who like to enter, if the risk reward is good, for example, if price formed a new swing around here, and then here we go, forms a new dot around here, then enter on its break downwards, and then you can enter here, as the risk reward would be good. The most important thing is that our +1R has to be above the red support to enter this one. So if price, let me give you another scenario. If price forms a new blue dot around here, and then breaks it downward, then our entry would be around here, and here's our stop loss. Then I don't recommend this entry, as the risk to reward ratio would be very bad. Anyway, we don't have a surge confluence, as we don't have a potential resistance around here. So it would be only a 2 confluences setup, which I don't recommend at all, unless price forms a new rich bomb around here. Anyway, nothing is clear yet. We are waiting for a third dot, and we also have a diversion. So 2 confluences if this one becomes objective. So 2 confluences only. Let's wait for a third one to decide if we will enter a sell here or not. But anyway, we will be looking for objective buy setups as price approaches our previous resistance turned into support. That's it for AUD CAD. On AUD CHF on daily time frame, we deleted this one, so we can delete it. So we deleted our previous supply, and as mentioned, we were looking for objective sell setups as price was approaching our upper brown trend line, but also price didn't respect it. Here we have H1 M30. Okay, let's start with the M30. So price didn't respect our analysis here. We didn't have a momentum candle close below our lower last swing standing, and even this descending triangle. As I always say, descending triangles are are bearish patterns, but it can be broken either sides. So some traders only look for sell opportunities, but it can be broken either sides, as the upper one is a trend line. So let's say you didn't see, give me a moment, I'm trying to catch the lower trend line, yes. So even if you didn't see the lower one, you could enter a buy here. Anyway, I personally didn't enter this buy, as I didn't recommend it as well. I don't know here we go. The buy isn't recommended, as price is sitting around a resistance area. So I personally didn't enter a buy, even though it hit take profit. So let's delete our previous analysis. So that's it for M30. For H1 as well, we didn't have a candle close below our lower purple trend line. On H4, price didn't break it below it as well. On daily, as mentioned before, price didn't respect our resistance and broke it upward. We didn't enter a sell. Now price is sitting around our main resistance in red, as you can see from daily perspective. 1, 2, 3, 4, a very strong one, even 5 around here. So we'll be looking for objective sell setups on lower time frames as a retest till our previous support and brown trend line would be expected. So we're looking for sell opportunities, keeping in mind that price can still break the upper red resistance to test our upper main strong resistance in gray, and also the overall brown trend line rejection. So here's our first scenario. Our second scenario, as mentioned before, would be a retest around here. So for now, we'll be looking for objective sell setups on lower time frames. So if we zoom into okay, Sean, don't worry. Have a good day, and I will post the recording hopefully in a couple of hours. So as mentioned before, we will be looking for objective sell setups on lower time frames as price is sitting around a resistance. So we have a setup forming yet, it's not objective. 1, 2, that's our second swing. For those who are asking if this swing is correct, yes, it is. As mentioned in the manual, the dots show you the swing to connect, not the exact dot. So you don't have to connect it like this. Okay, so you can connect the swing that forms around our dot. So for now, we don't have anything yet. We are waiting for a third dot to form around our trend line to become objective and then enter on its break downward. We also have a divergence forming. So let's wait and see what happens. Meanwhile, ADCHF would be overall bullish. And as mentioned before, we'll be looking for objective buy setups if price retests our lower green zone. So that's it for ADCHF. Now our last main pair is CATCHF. On CATCHF weekly time frame, we were looking for objective sell setups on lower time frames as price was sitting around a strong round number 0.7. And as mentioned, if price broke it upward, then our next resistance would be the orange, then the red main one. On H4, price trading inside this channel, and here's last week updates. And we're waiting for a new swing to form around our red trend line to consider it objective and then enter on its break upward. So let's start with the M30. Here we go. Price broke our red trend line before forming a new swing around it. So no buy entry here, even though price went up. Let's delete it. Then on weekly time frame, price broke above our green resistance and now sitting around our orange one. Here's the view from daily. From all this movement downwards, the only green candles are these ones here. So this area here can act as a strong supply zone, as it's the only green candle inside this big movement downside. So price is currently sitting around a strong supply and resistance as well. So we'll be looking for objective sell setups on lower time frames. Keeping in mind that price can still test our previous main resistance in red before going downward. So let's wait and see what happens. We'll be looking for objective sell setups on lower time frames unless price breaks it upward. And meanwhile, as usual, the ACADS is overall bullish. As you can see here, price is still trading inside this channel in purple and now sitting around our upper one. So we'll be looking for objective sell setups around here and then around here. On H1 time frame, price is forming an objective trend line. It's not valid yet. So we are waiting for a new swing to form around it to consider it objective and then enter on its break downward. That's our first scenario. Our second scenario would be a trend continuation till our red zone. Then we'll be looking for objective buy setups around here. And as usual, as price retests our previous support and even the lower purple trend line, we'll be looking for objective buy setups on lower time frames. So that's it for our main pairs. We still have USD TRY, USD HF, SGD JPY, and Euro SEK. I'll take 1 minute break to if you have any questions, and then I will go over the last 4 pairs. Do you have any more questions? Great, Elio. We still have Ilyas, Mefika, Ahmad, Abdullah. Okay, Ahmad. Bomba. I like to use this word as well. Great, Ilyas. I'm happy to hear that. So let's continue. On USD TRY, we were waiting for a retest till around our strong ground number 7 to look for sell opportunities. We had a sell last week. Here we go. So we are still waiting for a retest till our previous round number to look for sell opportunities. That's what Mefika asked me. So if price forms as sell setup around here, I will personally not enter a sell unless the pattern is huge. Now I will give you an example, but for now I prefer to look for sell opportunities around this area here and not here or even around here. So I will not look for sell setups. We call it a no man land. Okay, so it's in the middle of nowhere. As you can see, no rejections inside this area. So on H4, on M30, on H4, we have a head and shoulders pattern. It's a not typical head and shoulders pattern, as the distance between the head and the shoulders are huge, but the risk reward is good. Anyway, it depends on your trading style. I would personally not enter the sell, so traders can enter sell on the break of the neckline below it. Anyway, this neckline acts as a strong demand zone. As you can see, explosive movements from it, from here and from here. So our first scenario would be price testing our zone and then test our upper resistance. Then we'll be looking for objective sell setups on lower time frames. That's our first resistance. I'm personally interested in sell opportunities around here, and I'm also interested in buy opportunities around here. Currently price is trading in the middle of nowhere, so I'm not interested in despair for now, but for those who like to enter can enter, but with half risk as recommended. So on H1 we don't have anything, and on M30 price is trading inside this channel, but as mentioned before, here we have an overall trend down, and price is currently trading inside it, as you can see from here, and here we go. So price is overall bearish, so traders can look for buy opportunities as price retests our upper trend line. Here we go. Can enter on sell around here. So we'll be looking for sell opportunities around here and around here, and as mentioned, for buy opportunities around here. That's it for USD try. On USD HUF, price as expected last week, we tested our previous minor resistance and traded lower. We are holding a long-term sell for those who entered, and we'll keep holding our sell until an objective buy is activated. So let's check it out. Here we go. Price is still making lower lows and pushing lower aggressively. Here's our view from H4. Here we go. Our stop loss is huge here, so it depends on your trading style. That's the correct stop loss placement. Some traders made their stop loss around here, and some others made it around here. It depends on what you're looking for, but the correct stop loss placement is above the right shoulder. So this trade reached +1R for those who entered, and is now approaching a strong support zone in blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a very strong one, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. So we'll be looking for objective buy setups as price approaches our zone. Here we go. That's our first scenario, and we're holding an long-term sell. On H1, price is still doing lower lows and lower highs. So we are still overall bearish, and we are waiting for a new swing to form around our red trend line to consider it objective and enter on its break downwards. I don't recommend an entry unless price tests our support before breaking above our red trend line, because for now we only have two confluences, divergence and trend line. We don't have a third one. So we can expect a movement like this. From here, that's our first one. That's our first scenario, to make our red trend line objective and then enter on break upwards. That's our first scenario. Our second scenario would be price breaking our red trend line without forming a dot around it, so we can delete it, and then forms a new dot around here. Then here we go, like this. Then forms a new swing around it, test our support, and then forms a new swing, and then enter on its break upwards. Okay, so let's wait and see. For now, USD HUF is overall bearish. SGD JPY, we're waiting for objective buy setups to form around here to buy this one, as price was sitting around a strong support and resistance. And for those who read the previous advanced manual, here we have a trio retest. Anyway, let's not confuse you with terminologies. We will talk about it hopefully in the next risk management manual. So we're looking for buy opportunities, and we were holding a buy. We had two buy opportunities around here. The first one was after a break above this last swing standing, so that's our entry. And our second entry is after breaking above the neckline. So here's our 2 entries. We are holding a whole overall buy unless price breaks objectively below this blue trend line. So that's it for SGDJPY. Let's take a look. Here we go. Price shooted up and now is retesting a strong resistance in blue from daily time frame 1 to 3. And so we'll be looking for objective sell setups on lower time frames as a retest till our previous support is expected. Unless price breaks it upward, then a movement till our next resistance in red 1, 2, 3, 4, or even the upper one, the upper brown trend line would be expected. Then we'll be looking for objective sell setups on lower time frames. So let's wait and see what happens. Our last week buy hit take profit. So we can delete the risk to reward ratio, and on H1 price didn't break below our lower blue trend line, so let's delete it, and even didn't respect our supply zone. Let's see it as well. And for now we are looking for objective sell setups around this area. Meanwhile, SGDJPY is overall bullish and can still test our upper resistance before going downwards. So that's it for SGDJPY, nothing special here. We have divergence forming, but let's wait for other confluences to form. On EUR/SEK, our last exotic pair, price was trying to break below our last swing standing. It's not exactly a last swing standing as it's a trend line from weekly. So we can draw it from 2 swings only, and we will not enter sell on it. It's just for overall direction. So we were looking for buy opportunities around here. Unless price breaks it downward, then a movement till our next brown trend line would be expected. On H1, we had a stop loss last week and I take profits, but I didn't personally enter it. And we were waiting for an objective break above our upper purple trend line to buy this one. And here we go. Price on weekly price broke below our last swing low. So this one, the sellers took full control for now, and a movement till our next brown trend line is expected, and even the previous 10K round number, a very strong round number. So as mentioned, we'll be looking for buy setups as price approaches our brown trend line and 10K. That's it for daily. On H4, price didn't break above our upper purple trend line yet, so we can expect a movement like this. We would be overall bearish. Here we can look for sell opportunities on lower time frames around here as trend continuation. Then here we go. We can expect a movement like this, and then we can enter a long-term buy. But anyway, let's wait and see what happens. On H1, we don't have anything special. And on M30, we previously had a head and shoulders pattern, but I deleted it as price didn't respect it. So here we go. So nothing special for now. Let's wait. We are overall bearish. And if we make this one to show on M30, here we go. We can look for sell opportunities as price retests our upper purple trend line. That's it for this weekly overview. If you have any more questions, if you want me to analyze a specific pair, because as you know, I removed a couple of pairs. For example, I removed AUD/NZD. Price is sitting around our upper brown trend line and a strong resistance zone 1, 2, 3. So looking for sell opportunities. Here we have a channel. We are waiting for a third dot to form around it, and then sell on its break downwards. On M30, price formed an objective trend line, and we have a divergence. So we can wait for a new dot to form around here, and then enter on its break upward as a trend continuation setup. On USD NOK, price is approaching a strong round number and overall trend. So we'll be looking for buy opportunities as price approaches it. And we also have a gap. Here we go. So we'll be looking for objective buy setups on lower time frames. Here's our view from M30. We are waiting for a new swing to form around it. Of course, we prefer price to go here and then breaks it upwards. Then we will enter a buy. What else? We have Euro SGD. Price is overall bullish and is currently approaching a strong supply area. So we're looking for buy setup, sell setups, and price. Keep in mind that price can still test our upper supply zone or even the upper resistance before going downward. So looking for sell opportunities. Here we have a trend line. We are overall bullish and price can still go up and up and up to test our main supply before going downwards. That's for SDJPY. What else do we have? Euro CHF. Price rejected our support and formed a trend line here. So now it's retesting a strong support and resistance zone. As you can see here, a very strong one. I personally moved Euro CHF and I use AUD as Euro and CHF are highly correlated. But just for you to know that Euro CHF was not correlated for the last week, as we had big fundamental news on Swiss franc on CHF last week. That's why the Euro and the CHF weren't very correlated. The Euro was going upwards and the CHF was also getting stronger. That's why we can see a big movement on Euro CHF to the upside. So right, Elio, we don't have SGD, JPY, and TechMill. Okay, so price is currently sitting around a resistance zone. So we're looking for sell opportunities and price can still test our upper one before going downwards. And here is the view from M30 and the USD and so on. It's approaching a strong resistance zone in gray and upper purple trend line. So we'll be looking for objective sell setups on lower time frame, but it's still overall bullish. And as price approaches our upper zone, we'll be looking for objective sell setups. Here we go, waiting for a new swing to form around it, and then enter on its break downward. On Euro NOK as well, price is filling the previous gap and a round number. So we'll be looking for buy opportunities. Keep in mind that price can still test our previous supply before going upward. So if you zoom into lower time frames, price is trading inside. Is forming an trend line, waiting for a new swing to form around it, and then enter on break upwards, so on, so on, and so forth. But I can't simply stop. Okay, we'll do the last one. Maybe we'll do oil as well, and DAX. Okay, and we'll stop here. Okay, so price is testing a strong support and resistance zone in red. Here we go, it's overextended. So we'll be looking for sell opportunities unless price breaks it upward. Then a movement till our upper green resistance would be expected and orange trend line. So let's zoom into lower time frames and look for sell opportunities. Here we go. Here we have an objective trend line. So we're waiting for a new swing to form around it to consider it objective and then enter on its break downwards. Okay, let's do oil and DAX, and that's it for today. Give me a minute. Yes. Okay, so on gold's weekly time frame, price is retesting our gap, is filling our gap and retesting a strong support and resistance zone in green. So we'll be looking for objective sell setups on lower time frames as a trend following would be expected. Price is overall bearish and now sitting around a strong area. So let's zoom into lower time frames. Here we go. Here's our H1 view. We are waiting for a new swing to form around our lower red trend line to sell this one. And we also have another view from M30. We are waiting for a new swing to form around our lower blue trend line to sell this one. But conservative traders have to stick with the lower red trend line. And we have reversions forming, as you can see here. I'm fixing my charts as I'm speaking. Okay, so here we go. We are waiting for an objective break to sell, or waiting for a new setups to form around our upper resistance. On DAX, last but not least, see, I didn't really fix my lines around here as I didn't put in the overview. So DAX price broke above this one. There are many fundamentals behind this upward movement, but let's stick with our technical side. Price is moving upward aggressively, then we will be looking for objective sell setups as price approaches our upper supply zone, a very strong supply zone. As you can see, an explosive movement to the downside from it. So that's it from weekly, and from daily we don't have anything to add. Okay. Here's our view from H1. Price is overall bullish. So we are waiting for new swings to form around our red trend line. And here we go, and then enter on its break downward. Meanwhile, DAX is overall bullish, and we can look for buy opportunities if price made it till around our previous resistance. As you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a very, very strong support and resistance zone. And here as well, a very strong demand and resistance area. Okay, that's it for this weekly overview. I can't really stop making new pairs, but I have to go as I have another session at 2 p.m. So I'll take a lunch break and then we'll continue from there. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, I'll give you like 5 minutes or even more if you need to. I would be here taking your questions. We have 7 participants: Ahmad, Ilyas, Elio, Kevin. Hello, Kevin. I'm happy to see you here. Mefika and Atta. Hello, guys. I'm happy that some of you joined. Do you have any questions, guys? My pleasure, Elio. I'm happy that you like it. And next week we'll decide if we will make it as a video as well, or you prefer it as pictures and charts. It's my first experience doing videos, so hope it didn't bother you. Great, Ahmad. Yes, sure, Atta, don't worry. I will record the session. It is already recorded. I will upload it to YouTube and send you the link, hopefully in a couple of hours, maybe after 4 or 5 hours. Okay, Mefika, great. I'm happy to hear that. Great, Elias. Wishing you a good day, a wonderful weekend, and I will be posting the weekly overview in a bit. Great, Atta. Sure. Hopefully, I'm thinking about making the analysis as a video like this over the weekend, and hopefully very soon. I'm just trying to I'm trying to manage my time as soon as much as possible, as I'm planning to take August off, not off from everything, but off from a couple of tasks that I do weekly, as I'm planning to record the entire course in English. So it would be available for you guys from basic to advanced, even all the manuals, basic risk management, and also advanced manuals, even from the start. What is Forex, what is margin, leverage, and all this stuff. So when I'm trying to manage my time as much as I can, so I can make another weekly overview midweek. Sure. I will also include the correlation pairs and the risk management part. So hopefully when I finish the course in English, I would have more time, and maybe after then we'll make online videos like this over the weekend, and midweek we'll make another midweek overview for maybe charts or even videos like this. So we'd have 2 weekly overviews, and that's it for me. Any more questions, or we call it a session? Yes, Kevin. I'm sorry, maybe because of the time difference between us, but it's okay. Maybe hopefully next time you will be with us from the start. Yes, don't worry. It will be recorded, so you can watch it as many times as you want. Okay, so wishing you a wonderful weekend, family, and hope to see you next time. And I see you afternoon when I post the recording. Have a good day.